So here's another hand that I wanted to show. I like this. I actually show this because I like this fold. The hero. I keep saying that. The hero ends up folding here. I like this fold based on, and I wanted to show this. You guys don't get to see all the hands because I didn't show every single hand. But this the razor here, the opener, has really not played any hands at all, and I think folding here makes a lot of sense because like getting your chips in here with king queen with 0 fold equity. The last hand I was advocating shoving ace-3 into a raise, but you have fold equity. If you get called, yeah, you're not in bad shape, and same with king queen, you're not in bad shape, but you're always getting called because your chips are all in the middle. So you're basically going to lose most of your stack here if you're wrong, and the villain hasn't really shoved a hand, so you gotta think his minimum holding is probably like ace-10 or some pair. It's rarely going to be king-jack, although it sometimes could be king-jack, but that's your hope. Your hope is that he has king-jack, because it's probably not queen-jack, and you're really not going to get your chips in good, so we actually don't find out what it is because everybody folds. The next hand here is another example, and this jam, like I think I said early in the introduction that there's very few fatal errors in this, what I would call a fatal error, and I have to apologize. I used to work in quality control in a big call center, not for very long, but I did it for like a year and a half, and I was responsible for a team. They rated calls and stuff, and we used to actually sit and replay calls with customers, and there used to be something called a fatal error, and certain things, like if you gave out completely wrong information, it was called a fatal error, and you failed the call, and you couldn't get so many, or it was a discipline issue. And I firmly believe there's this hand and one other one, which, on the course of 400 and something hands is really not that bad. But to me, this is like a fundamental fatal mistake, because I hate this jam. And the reason I hate this jam is the same reason I didn't like the jam with 8s, but here it's significantly worse because you have jacks. Yes, I know some people are going to explain to me that jacks are a very tough hand to play post-flop, but it's very tough to play with no chips. So I think it's always worth the risk here to open and hope someone makes a dumb shove on you. Even if you get called, the hand plays pretty well post-flop, and we're not going to get to play post-flop here, and this isn't a video about playing post-flop with jacks when you have no chips. So I'm not going to get into all the different scenarios that can happen, but my point is, you're not going to get a hand, you're not going to get a big pocket pair when you're short deep in a tournament very often, and you have to maximize it. You have to take the opportunity to maximize these big hands, because you're going to get crap for so long, and you're going to have to make do and stuff. And so when you get a hand like pocket jacks deep in a tournament, you have to make do. And so in this spot, I would raise to 77,000 and hope like anything I get a call, a raise. Now I'm going to show some hands later from some of these players here that are just mind-boggling. That you can't believe the things they're doing. And so if I can show you hands like that, to just open ship a hand like jacks here, I just think is a really big mistake. I think you always want to be opening here and hoping you get chipped on or get a call and you can play a flop, or you get chipped on. I mean, ideally you get chipped on by a lower pocket pair. I think these players are going to fold when you jam here. They're going to fold all pocket pairs, probably 8s below. Okay? But I don't think they're going to fold them if you open. I think they're going to call you maybe they're going to fold 2s and 3s, but they're not going to fold any other pocket pairs. So here you've taken out a whole bunch of hands. Hands like ace-10, they're probably going to... ace-10 they might call here, but ace-9, ace-8, the king-jacks, the king-10s, there's just so many hands that you crush that you really want to get your chips in here pre-flop somehow. And jamming this many chips is not going to get, it's not going to work often enough to make this the right play. So that I really wanted to spend time on that. I think it's, like I said, glaring mistake, and the point is that we play this whole tournament short. So if there's one thing that happens, I mean, the last hand is kind of like bad luck, in my opinion. It wasn't that bad a shove. I showed the last hand already. I don't think there's much you can do. I think that you just need to collect chips. And so the last hand plays out so much differently if you have chips, because you probably don't jam if you have 40 big blinds and someone limps into your big blind. But because you only have 18 big blinds, it makes it a lot more difficult to play.